Hello, this is History Shorts with the Artifactual Scholar. Today, I'll be talking about the Cherry Tree Rebellion of 1938. Each spring, thousands of tourists descend on Washington, D.C. to enjoy the beauty of the blooming cherry trees along the tidal basin. The original cherry trees were a gift of goodwill to the United States from the city of Tokyo, Japan. In 1912, the newly appointed Japanese ambassador to the United States, Count Chinda Tsutemi, heard that several prominent Americans, including First Lady Helen Taft, were enchanted by Japanese cherry blossoms. In an astute move of diplomacy, the ambassador convinced the mayor of Tokyo to donate some 3,000 cherry trees to the U.S. So, on March 27, 1912, the First Lady and the ambassador's wife planted 2 cherry trees along the barren shoreline of the tidal basin. For the next 20 years, the blooming cherry trees marked the arrival of spring in the nation's capital. In 1934, Congress created the Thomas Jefferson Memorial Commission to develop a memorial to the third president. By 1937, the commission chose to build the memorial on the south shore of the tidal basin. That decision, however, soon sparked outrage among some Washingtonians. Building the memorial in the chosen location threatened many of the beloved cherry trees. Soon, civic organizations, women's clubs, and other groups began to protest the proposed removal of the trees. One of the leading voices in the protest was Eleanor Sissy Patterson, the owner and editor of the Washington Times-Herald newspaper. In a series of editorials, she criticized the commission's decision and encouraged the public to take action to save the cherry trees. The protesters claimed that several hundred trees would be destroyed to build the memorial. For his part, President Franklin Roosevelt claimed that the issue of the trees was a flim-flam, drummed up by the press to sell more newspapers, and that no more than 88 trees would be impacted. The director of the National Park Service noted that the trees were to be transplanted, not cut down. Yet public protests continued. On November 17, 1938, as construction was about to begin on the memorial, a group of women attempted to deliver a petition to save the trees to the president at the White House. The following day, those same protesters chained themselves to some of the trees at the construction location. Other women, including Patterson, descended onto the memorial site and relieved the construction workers of their shovels, refilled holes, and prepared to make a stand to save the trees. Conflict was averted when the Assistant Secretary of the Interior, Michael Strauss, intervened. After serving the protesters lunch and what some reports called never-ending cups of coffee, he convinced the ladies to unchain themselves and allow the project to continue. On December 15, 1938, a groundbreaking ceremony was held, and 11 months later, on November 15, 1939, the cornerstone of the Jefferson Memorial was laid. Most of the cherry trees that had occupied the site were eventually replanted along the tidal basin. In the end, the Cherry Tree Rebellion was a public protest to preserve an aspect of natural beauty within the nation's capital. Thomas Jefferson, whose proposed memorial sparked the protest, probably would have approved of the people's efforts. This has been History Shorts. Thanks for watching.